They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Alright guys, over the past few videos, I have asked y'all to go down to the comment section and let me know what y'all want me to talk about. Let me know what you want to hear. And my favorite suggestion that we had from the comment section was to make some rest of season rankings. So what I'm going to be doing for the next few days is just that. I'm going to be going through the guard position, the forward position, and the center position, and doing rest of season rankings for each guy. And let me know also if you would like me to just do some overall rankings. But I think if we are comparing guards to guards, forwards to forwards, and centers to centers, that's going to be a lot more helpful for y'all down the stretch and when y'all are making trades and when y'all are trying to evaluate these players. But as always, guys, please go down there. If you have not already, for whatever reason, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out so much. And if this video gets over 100 likes in the first day it's uploaded, I'll go down to the comment section and I'll answer every single fantasy basketball question y'all have. All right, well, that's it. Let's dive into these players. And let's start it off with our number one guard for the rest of the season. And I know this is going to be a little bit controversial, but I don't care. We are going to be going with James Harden. Yes, I know everybody here is probably expecting Steph Curry. And I'm just saying, James Harden, it doesn't matter what format you are playing in. It doesn't matter what you are wanting with your roster. He is coming through and he is giving you a little bit of everything. I mean, for those category leagues, James Harden has elite levels of efficiency with his field goal percentage close to 50%, with his free throw percentage hovering about 90%. And we know that James Harden is also going to be giving you a ton of assists. And that is why we are going to have Harden over Steph Curry, where, yeah, Curry is going to score more points. Yeah, Curry is going to have a better shot from beyond the arc. But right now, James Harden has been averaging over 11 assists a game for the Brooklyn Nets. And to go along with that, he is also giving you more rebounds at over 7 rebounds a game, something I was not expecting from James Harden on this new Nets roster. But, I mean, we can't overlook it. Just because we weren't expecting it doesn't mean we can pretend that it's not happening. Then we go over to the defensive statistics, where James Harden is also giving you over a steal a game, close to a block a game at the same time. So it doesn't matter if you're playing in a points league. It doesn't matter if you're playing in a category league. I think we're going to be having to go with James Harden at our number one spot, especially if you consider that Harden really has not even had the chance to play with both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant on the same court a ton. I think that we can only expect the number of assists and the number of overall points scored from the Brooklyn Nets to go up when all three players are on the court. So yeah, I mean, James Harden, I was expecting him to bump down after the trade, but he has just come out and proved that it doesn't really matter what role he is going to be asked to play. He is going to be an elite playmaker for fantasy regardless. All right, so now our next player, of course, we already talked about him. We are going to be going with Steph Curry here. I think Curry is most likely going to be the number one choice for the majority of people in their own rankings. I'm just looking at the assists. I'm looking at the rebounds and having to go with James Harden. But still, Steph Curry, obviously an elite asset, an elite guard in his own right, where he's right up there with the efficiency of a James Harden, where he is giving you close to 50% from the field. He's giving you actually close to 95% from the free throw line. Yeah, he may not take as many trips to the line, but still, that number is so high up that if you're playing in a category league, I mean, Steph Curry can pretty much win you the free throw percentage outright. And then you go to his three-point production, where he is making 5 threes a game, something that obviously we are expecting Steph Curry to lead the NBA in threes. He's the best three-point shooter of all time. I don't think anybody can really debate that. But what we are seeing from Curry that we maybe have not seen in years past is him just having to completely carry the Golden State Warriors, where he is putting up over 20 shots a game, and that is leading to him scoring over 30 points a game currently. So yeah, Steph Curry is right up there if you're talking about any type of numbers with scoring the basketball. The only thing is, the rebounds sitting at about 5.5, still a great number for Curry, still a little bit more than I expected. The assist sitting at about 6. We know that the Warriors are a little bit lacking with playmakers currently. So Steph Curry is not necessarily having a ton of options to just dish it out after he drives and to expect his teammates to make the open shot. I know it's not necessarily their identity, but outside of Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors really aren't that great of a three-point shooting team. So yeah, that is something that we are going to have to acknowledge, and obviously Curry is never really going to be giving you any blocks regardless, but the scoring is elite. So I think you could even make the argument for a category league where his free throw percentage is so high for you to make Steph Curry the number one player overall. Personally, I don't care if it's a points league, I don't care if it's a category league. I'm going to be going Harden then Curry, but I understand you if you want to go elsewhere. All right, so now let's go to our next player, who was my number 2 player coming into the season. And this is going to be Luka Doncic. And here with Luka, if we are looking at raw numbers, he has them all. If we are just looking at points, rebounds, assists, he is averaging close to a triple-double. He's slowed down a little bit with rebounds, which really is kind of surprising if you're looking at him averaging close to 36 minutes a game. But one reason you love drafting Luka is just because we know how young he is, we know how big he is, so he's going to be able to play every single game for the Dallas Mavericks, and he's going to be able to have that incredibly high usage rate where he is getting up over 21 shots a game. Yes, the efficiency is not necessarily as high as Steph Curry, but it's still right up there, close to 48% from the field, close to 80% from the free throw line. And I know he has not necessarily been shooting great from beyond the arc, but at least he's putting up a ridiculous amount of three-point shots a game, so it really doesn't matter how low the efficiency is because they are getting put up. And then 29 points, 8.5 rebounds, 9.5 assists, like we said, close to that triple-double from Luka Doncic. And I will say, for a points league, I would have Luka right up there in the conversation of a James Harden, of a Steph Curry. And I would not be upset if you wanted to put Luka at that number 1 spot. For a category league, just because the field goal percentage and the free throw percentage is going to be a little bit lower, I would prefer the other guys, but still, Luka, elite in everything you're looking at. All right, so now let's go to our next player who has been having to put his team straight up on his back and do pretty much everything, Damian Lillard. Okay, so right now with Damian Lillard, he is right up there with Steph Curry as one of the best shooters in the entire NBA. Nobody is surprised by that, where he is also averaging over 4 3-pointers made a game. This is ridiculous if you're looking at the range that he is also shooting these with, because teams are kind of trying to press Dame. He's getting the Trey Young treatment, and you would expect his overall field goal percentage to be a little bit higher if he can drive the lane, if he makes the defender step up. But we know CJ McCollum being out for a significant amount of time, and this Trailblazers roster also suffering some other injuries, really makes it where the other team really only has to look at Damian Lillard as the only player that they have to guard. It doesn't matter, though, because he is still coming out here and he is giving you 30 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, almost 8 assists. So with Damian Lillard, I'll say that yes, CJ McCollum coming back later on in the year is most likely going to bring his shot attempts down. But like we talk about all the time, when you add that another player into the mix, I think while yes, we'll see the shot attempts go down, the efficiency should go up just because he's going to be getting easier looks at the basket. All right, so now our next player I have to sit here and I have to hold a giant L with. I told y'all to sell whenever he was worth way less than he is now. So there's no escaping that I am a straight up dumbass. There's no escaping that I seriously just completely misread the room with this situation. But Kyrie Irving is going to come in here at number 5. And with Kyrie, yeah, at the back of our minds, we're always going to have the question, how long is he going to be here? Are we going to have to worry about Kyrie just possibly disappearing later on in the season? Now, personally, I am not even going to be thinking about that with these rankings just because it's impossible for me to say, it's impossible for me to read Kyrie Irving. But I want y'all to keep that in the back of your minds. That way, if you think that it's a high likelihood chance, y'all can kind of rearrange this list and move him down if need be. But we're not going to talk about that. Let's just talk about the ridiculous efficiency that we've seen from Kyrie Irving. And obviously, Kyrie has kind of slid over into a little bit more of a shooting guard role where he's playing off ball. This is exactly what Kyrie needed to do to really unlock this Brooklyn Nets offense. This is what I thought he wouldn't be willing to do. But with James Harden kind of running the show there in Brooklyn, it has opened up Kyrie Irving to see so many free looks where right now he is averaging 53% from the field. And because of how fast-paced this Nets team is, because of how bad their defense is, I mean, we are also seeing him get the chance to put up a decent amount of shots. I mean, he's right up there with 20 shot attempts per game. Kyrie also elite from the free throw line with 90% and elite scoring the ball, 28 points a game and 5.5 assists, something I was not expecting after he made the transition over to being a little bit more of a shooting guard, and close to 5 rebounds at the same time. So Kyrie Irving, especially if you're playing in those category leagues, is going to be someone that can straight up win you any given week. But even in a points league, I mean, this is a player that is making an impact every single night. All right, so now let's go to our next guy. And I know that y'all are going to be a little bit tired of hearing me talk about him, but he is one of the most disrespected players in the entire NBA. People are talking about him right now, possibly not even being an all-star, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. And this is going to be Zach LaVine. So with Zach LaVine, yeah, I know he's not necessarily the best defender, but it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter for fantasy basketball when he is still giving you over a steal a game. He's giving you half a block a game at the same time. So if he's decent everywhere else, then we don't have to worry about that in the slightest. And Zach LaVine is more than decent everywhere else. I mean, he has played 28 games so far this year, which is pretty much rivaling anybody else for the number one spot in the NBA. Just the amount of times that he is willing to step out there on the court, it's extremely impressive when you're factoring in the fact that he is seeing 36 minutes per game. And the scoring is ridiculous. Over 50% from the field when he is putting up 20 shots a game. And he is coming through in a big way from beyond the arc and at the free throw line. Then you go through and you go, yeah, but it's Zach LaVine. We know he's a little bit more of a shooting guard, not necessarily going to have the assist production. But no, that's not the case with LaVine. He's averaging over 5 assists and 5 rebounds a game. So Zach LaVine right now, I think, could possibly be the number one trade target in fantasy basketball. Obviously, if you're playing in a league where people know what they're doing, Zach LaVine is going to cost you a considerable amount. But right now, just say in casual fantasy basketball leagues, I think because Zach LaVine doesn't necessarily have the name brand of someone like a Steph Curry, you're going to be able to get him at a massive, massive discount. All right, so now let's go to our next player, someone that has had the definition of an up and down season. And this is going to be Trey Young. So I will say right out the gate, Trey Young is definitely a better asset in a points league than a category league, because you go through, you look, I mean, he has a 43% field goal percentage. We know that is definitely not ideal when he's putting up close to 18 shots a game. Free throw percentage, completely fine. So I guess you can say maybe it balances out. We know that he's going to be a fantastic free throw shooter just based on the range and consistency that he has. And with Trey Young, what's surprising is he's only making about 2.5 3-point shots a game. I mean, if you were asking me before the season who was going to be leading the NBA in 3-point shots made, I would go, we got Steph Curry, Dame Lillard's going to be right up there, maybe Trey Young at 3, but no, that hasn't been the case at all. I mean, right now, LeBron James is averaging more 3-pointers made a game than Trey Young, so that is definitely something that we have to acknowledge. But Trey Young is right up there at the very top of the NBA in his assists per game with 9.3. So yeah, Young, I know he's been up and down. I know this Hawks team hasn't necessarily been what we've been expecting, but we still have to acknowledge the fact that when he is dropping 27 points a game and over 9 assists a game, I mean, he has to be up here at number 7 for us. All right, so earlier we were applauding Zach LaVine for playing a ridiculous, I want to say we called it 28 games. Well, now let's go over to someone who has cracked 30 games already, and this is Fred VanVleet. And right now, Fred VanVleet is not only on pace to just play every single game for the Tampa Bay Raptors, yes, Tampa Bay, not Toronto Raptors, but he is also playing a ridiculous 37 minutes a game. So I know if you're playing in a category league, Fred VanVleet is not necessarily going to be someone that is going to carry you in field goal percentage. He's going to do the exact opposite of that, actually, where he is only going to be putting up about 40% from the field. Definitely going to be the lowest number from anybody on this list. But then you go everywhere else, I mean, he's solid. He's getting you over over 3 3-pointers made a game. He's cracking that 20 points a game mark. He's giving you over 4 rebounds. He's giving you over 6 assists. But what's great is he's giving you close to 2 steals a game. So if you're playing in one of those category leagues, you know, hey, maybe I go through, maybe I construct a team where I punt field goal percentage, then I kind of pair up Donovan Mitchell and Fred VanVleet together, just completely throw field goal percentage out the window, and VanVleet can be someone that can win you the steals category any given week on his own right. But even if you're playing in a points league, we know we like to see the the steals regardless. So yeah, here, let me know what y'all are thinking. Someone that I definitely undervalued coming into the season, but he's rising, and he's been a consistent force for this Raptors team who is desperately needed a spark. All right, so now let's go over to our next player who has only played 13 games because of his injury. And I know that he is not going to come back until about early to mid-March. But, I mean, when he comes back, he is going to be an elite producer. And this is CJ McCollum. And with CJ, yes, what he did in his 13 games played is not sustainable. We are not going to see CJ averaging 5 3-pointers made for the rest of the season. That is just mathematically near impossible. But we know that he is going to consistently put up a ton of 3-point shots, and he's playing a little bit more off ball just because Dame Lillard can handle so much of the offense. So what you're going to have from CJ is something that the other players in this list really aren't going to provide you, and that's the fact that he just doesn't commit turnovers. I mean, right now, he was barely averaging 1 turnover a game. But that's what you're going to expect from these off-ball players. They are going to have higher field goal percentages. They are going to have less turnovers. Maybe the assists, maybe the rebounds, the points aren't necessarily there. But CJ McCollum, specifically if you're a team that's looking like it's coasting its way to the playoffs, I think that he could be an intriguing add right now if you're willing to kind of lose out on the value for the next 3 weeks or so. All right, now let's go to someone that I know is going to be way down the list for everybody else, but I am just watching him in Oklahoma and going, oh my God, what is he turning into? And this is going to be Shai GilgeousAlexander. Now, every single game that I watch from Shai, I'm just kind of blown away. I see 1 or 2 things where I'm like, what? Did he just do that? And I know it probably is just making me a little bit biased. It's probably just making me a little bit too excited. But we know that he is ridiculously young. He is asked to do so many things for that Oklahoma City Thunder roster, and he is coming through with pretty much everything you'd want to see. I mean, he's right there at 50% from the field. He's right there over 22 points a game, over 5 rebounds a game, 6.5 assists a game. So Shai GilgeousAlexander currently is just going to continue to go out there and improve his game. We know that we always like targeting those younger players because they have room to develop, and generally they're going to be able to play more games, they're going to be able to play more minutes, and you don't need to load manage them as much. All right, now thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton, and I'll see y'all with the video tomorrow.